The port of Dover on the southeast coast of England is just 21 miles from Calais in France, the gateway into Europe. Over 6,000 lorries cross the English Channel every day, and with 18 million passengers making the journey each year, it's the busiest stretch of water in the world. But not all of the passengers crossing the Channel are welcome. Round the clock, the UK Border Agency has a presence at the port of Calais in France.
Good boy. Up here, mate, up here. Good boy, in this one.
With the aid of sniffer dogs, officers operate in force to protect the UK borders from clandestines, immigrants who attempt to enter the UK illegally.
The dog is trained to search for human scent. So a primary role at the northern ports of France is to search for illegal immigrants who smuggle themselves in lorries and other vehicles in order to get to the UK. And the dog body detection dog is one of the best technologies that we have.
In the past 12 months, officers searched more than 1 million freight vehicles and found over 29,000 immigrants attempting to come into the UK. Tonight, sniffer dog Fergus and Officer Matt are searching a lorry bound for Dover. Fergus is starting to show signs he can smell human presence.
Is this an indication, did you say?
Kind of, it's more of a disturbance indication, which means either the driver or one of our staff has checked the vehicle and there's some form of human scent still around there. Weights. Which one go find?
This time, nobody is found.
Ready? It wasn't an overly strong indication, but it was worth a look.
Officer Alex has continued the search of freight vehicles using sniffer dog Wax. And it doesn't take long before Wax makes one of his trademark indications.
We're going to get the camera in here because he's indicating.
Wax's highly sensitive nose appears to have made a positive indication for human presence just above the lorry's wheel arches. Officer Alex and sniffer dog Wax have found something of interest within the wheel arches of a lorry bound for the UK. Wax indicates to Alex to investigate further.
Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. We've got at least one clandestine on top of the pannier. So you've got a box that holds pallets, wooden pallets for loading, and there's a gap in between the top of the metal box that holds the pallets and the actual trailer itself. So they're just laying on top of the pannier. Good boy. And what I'll do now is I'll get the dog out of the way and the guys can take a look.
Alex is delighted with Wax's find. The driver of the lorry, less so.
Okay, driver, you stay there. Okay, yeah.
For every clandestine found in his lorry, the driver and his company face a fine of up to £2,000.
Come on, they come. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Count 4 pairs of shoes here. No.
Right, we've called for assistance from the office and we'll have someone come down to help us get them off the vehicle, and we'll keep them contained until the French police come down.
5 people are eventually found hiding underneath the lorry. It's a significant find, but for Wax, it's all a big game.
Dog's happy. He's got his tennis ball, which is what he does it for.
The clandestines are lined up as they wait for the French authorities to come and process them. For some of them, this was their 3rd attempt at getting into the UK.
The French police have taken them away to the station in the port here. They will process them and then they'll possibly interview them to ascertain whether they can be removed from France back to their country of origin.
It's been another successful night all round, due in no small part to sniffer dog Wax. In the following few weeks, Alex and the team at Calais continued their good run of form by discovering a further 34 clandestines bound for the UK. At Gatwick Airport, a flight has just arrived from Portugal. Officers are monitoring passengers disembarking the flight and looking out for any signs of suspicious behaviour.
Thank you.
One lone male passenger is of particular interest, as it's been noticed from his luggage tags that he started his journey outside of the EU.
As far as I'm aware, he's a gentleman that's come up from Venezuela via Portugal. He's just been away for a week. I think he's got a sort of last-minute ticket, only booked the day before.
The man says he's a minister who also works and raises funds for an American charity with a base in Venezuela.
They've got projects and they need funding and things like that, you know. I used to be a professional bike rider.
His short visit to South America causes concern, with Venezuela known as a country with links to the international drugs trade.
So when are you next going to be in contact with these people?
A couple of hours. I've already spoken to them on the phone.
Okay.
As Officer Tori continues to search the man's possessions, her colleague Gary comes across to swab test his suitcase for any traces of Class A drugs. And Gary's face says it all. The swab shows a positive reading for cocaine.
That's gone red, so there might be some form of traces of coke.
He relays the information to Tori.
Well, when I booked in, there was a...
Positive hits from there on there for coke.
There was a search at Crackers actually, before.
Just wait there, I'm just going to x-ray this one. Gary says that he's got a slight hit of coke, so I think a rub down might... Let's see if I can get one of them done.
The X-ray of the suitcase is clear. But with traces for cocaine, Tori wants to take her investigation to the next level.
I want to start putting things in there. I'm just going to go and speak to my boss. I'll be back in a second. He's got no work ID on him at all. He's got a bit of an earmarked Bible, but other than that...
So I'd find it weird if you're registered, like working for a registered charity, you wouldn't have any sort of charitable ID if you've been on a
he says
charity
he's got
trip.
tons of stuff on his laptop.
The news is broken to the passenger.
When we were I was doing the baggage search earlier, one of my colleagues, you may have saw him rub a small piece of, that's what we call an iron track machine, and it's given us a small trace or a small hit of cocaine from the inside of your bag. So I spoke to my boss and she's authorised like a security search. It's just like a rub down, like a pat down. Okay, so if you can follow me, please.
The man is led away to find out if he's hiding any packages.
The charity he works for have paid for his trip, but he didn't like it there really. It's very vague about what he's actually doing, it's just charity work. What?
No drugs are found on his body, so his shoes are taken away for further swab tests. And with another positive reading for cocaine, the plot thickens.
There's basically a few inconsistencies with what's happened here, and that is the fact that he's obviously, he said he's a charity worker, he's worked for a charity for a long time, but he has no actual charity ID. Also, he said he had a lot of stuff on the computer which was related to the charity, but he now can't find it. The man who bought his ticket, he had said, was arranged by the charity. We're now discovered that the man who bought the ticket is his friend who's meeting him outside. It's nothing to do with the charity at all.
With all of this in mind, officers decide to put the passenger through an X-ray. The positive drug hit from his shoes may suggest he's smuggling packages inside his body. However, his calm demeanour and full cooperation belies that of a drug smuggler. Passengers who've swallowed drugs will be arrested and detained for their own safety until all the packages safely come out.
If you just follow the officer again, you can take your bits there.
This time, however, it looks like the man has not swallowed any drugs.
I think this is all a bit too dense.
This is hip though, isn't it? It's a new hip replacement.
Oh, that is, yeah. But I mean all this.
With the last roll of the dice, Officer Kerry sends a team outside the airport to try and locate the person waiting to collect the passenger.
Yeah, we've sent 2 officers out to look for the guy that is supposed to be meeting Mr. But as yet, no one has showed themselves. They've not turned up to a call for his name or even the call for the meter's name. So we've just been given it a couple of minutes. If we hear nothing from it, I think at this stage, because of what we have, or rather what we don't have, we're probably going to have to let him go and just always be wandering, perhaps.
Just down the end there. Thanks for your time.
No one is found outside the airport. After a thorough search, the man is free to go. The hits for drugs are put down to contamination.